All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us out here today. Mother Nature cooperated. We got a decent day outside today, and you know, this whole week looks nice, actually. Next weekend is Memorial Day and kind of the unofficial start of summer. And summers are precious in South Dakota. We're not like the southern states where they get warm weather year round. We really love our summer months, and we don't take them for granted. And as a dad, again, my kids are 14, 11, and 7, and so summer months are precious to us. I understand how important family time is and outdoor activities are in the summer, but this year, summer 2020 is going to have to be a little bit different, and that probably comes as no surprise to anyone that we'll have to be doing some things differently based on the environment that we're in with COVID and what's going on in our world right now. But I'm really proud of some of the programming and some of the options and ideas that our team has put together for what summer 2020 can look like for Sioux Falls. So I'm joined today by Don Carney. Don is our Director of Parks and Rec. Jody Fick is our Director of Siouxland Libraries. Darren Smith is the President and CEO of the Washington Pavilion. And Susie O'Meara Hearns is the Interim CEO here at the Great Plains Zoo, where we're at today. And they're all going to speak here in a moment. So when the city's response to COVID-19 began in early March, we set in place what our response priorities were. And the very top priority, which continues to this day, is to limit and slow down the spread of COVID in our community. And I must say, I think our city has done a very good job of that. You can even see how we're set up today. Even if there wasn't cameras here and media here, I'm confident we would still be acting like this. Okay, this isn't just for the cameras. This is how people are acting. They're wearing their masks, they're social distancing. The second priority, however, was to preserve continuity of communities, our essential functions. When we talk about essential functions, we talk about our wastewater. We want your toilets to flush. We want you to have drinking water. We want to have public safety. We want to make sure you call 911, that our fire departments will come out to your house if you need them. Our third priority in this has been to minimize social disruption. That's obviously been a challenge, to minimize social disruption through all this. There's been some of that. There will continue to be social disruption. 4, we've been looking at how do we minimize economic impact. That's also been very challenging in this response, how we've tried to minimize economic impact, but as you know by unemployment numbers and some of the first initial sales tax numbers we've seen, COVID is having an effect on our community, not just on the business community, but the city of Sioux Falls and our budget and the way we're having to deliver services. And 5th, we've been working hard to coordinate messaging for you as the public. I feel we've tried to be very transparent in this whole process of how we're making decisions, how we're altering programming, what we're doing to keep this community safe. So these priorities kind of remain in place today. And so today we're going to talk about how we focus on the quality of life projects and the programming initiatives we want to be able to offer this summer. First, I want to talk about our swimming pools in the city. And you know, based on the continued presence of COVID-19 in our market, the high cost of operating those pools in this environment, as well as, quite honestly, the very, I'll call them burdensome, but they're pretty strict requirements that the CDC has in place, the guidelines that the CDC has in place to operate pools in this environment. City-owned pools will be suspending operations for this summer. So that again is not a decision that we have taken lightly at all. It's been a very gut-wrenching decision, to be honest with you. I've had a lot of conversations with the mayors of our MSA in Hartford and Brandon, Canton, Garrison, Del Rapids, T, Lenox, all these places that have community pools. They're all going to be making decisions on this very soon. Some already have. Brandon, for instance, Mayor Lundberg and the council there has decided not to open their pool this summer for many of the same reasons. And I think you'll see some of our other MSA communities making that same decision. So pending approval by the City Council, however, we will be changing up some programming to allow some free access to places like the Great Plains Zoo, the Washington Pavilion, to qualifying families in June, July, and August of this year. And so Sioux Falls residents who can present documents like a SNAP card or a school lunch letter or even a Medicaid card, in addition to the proof of address, they'll qualify for those programs that we're going to be offering. And I'll be presenting this proposal to the City Council at our Wednesday, June 3 meeting. These folks are going to talk about that a little bit. And so providing free admission to some of these amenities to families who typically qualify for free pool passes will help even more of our community enjoy some of these great assets we have, like the Pavilion, like the zoo, and we're talking with some of our other partners as well on what options exist for families to enjoy other facilities here. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Don Carney with Parks and Rec to talk about some of the opportunities in the coming months.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit more about what the Mayor had mentioned about the burdensome guidelines that are set out by the CDC for the operations of our public swimming pools. You know, here at Parks and Rec, you know, we'd love to see, you know, over 400,000 people using our pools throughout the course of any given year. And unfortunately, we have some pretty extensive facilities that have a lot of apparatus. For example, slides. We have interactive play features, lots of things for people to touch and grab. And as we evaluated whether or not we could open, obviously our goal is obviously to do that, but after looking at the additional number of staff above and beyond the lifeguards who have to watch the water and ensure public safety, we were going to have to add a significant amount of additional resources to be able to open those facilities. And so, again, as the Mayor said, we haven't taken this lightly. These are an important piece of summers here in Sioux Falls. But I think we have a really good plan and an opportunity for those that qualify to be able to get access to facilities that they may not otherwise be able to access, or at least not as much as they would like to access. So the program that the Mayor had talked about really is very similar to our Pool Pass program, where if you present that documentation, you get a free pool pass. And so we're excited about being able to work with the Pavilion, the Great Plains Zoo, to be able to afford them those opportunities. I would also like to share that we are expanding our programming with our playground program, our community center hours of operation, to again try to give more kids opportunities to participate in organized activities. You know, the library is going to add facilities. We're collaborating with the library on a variety of different programs. And so we're really excited about what the staff have done with both departments and across the city to really provide additional programming targeted at youth, knowing that the pools are going to be closed this summer. So again, appreciate everybody's patience as we work through this summer. I know it's going to be an opportunity for us to really highlight some different types of programming, and realizing that also encourage people to take advantage of the old school kind of ways of cooling off. You know, the garden hose, the sprinkler, you know, the baby pools that you can buy at Walmart. You know, check out the area lakes potentially if they allow swimming, but do that with active adult supervision. We just encourage that if you're going into one of those bodies of water or using contained water like a baby pool or something like that, you can buy at one of the department stores. So again, we're going to work really hard to provide a great summer for kids across the city despite the situation, and we just look forward to being able to engage the community on a high level. So with that, I turn it over to Jody Fick, our library director.
Good morning. It's good to see everyone today. I'm Jody Fick, Director of Libraries, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what summer is looking like for both libraries and parks as we join together to provide opportunities for our kids to enjoy this summer. We have spent a considerable amount of time reworking all of our programming to take most of it into an online format, and we're going to be challenging our families to imagine your story. In this time, this unprecedented time, as we continually hear, we need to take a step back and think about what does this mean for each of our families and for each of our children. Our programming this summer around the theme of Imagine Your Story will allow each of our families to do that. In addition, we are going to be bringing our bookmobile out to more neighborhoods for little pop-up libraries. We've developed ways for our children to safely get library materials that they'll be using with that programming. We've also are collaborating with the fire department to do more hydrant parties, and we challenge our families to come and enjoy that time together. For families who typically would come to to the libraries in the summer, we do have the opportunity for you to get library materials by placing your requests online, and then you can come to our libraries and pick those up safely curbside. Now I'm going to turn this over to Darren Smith with the Washington Pavilion.
Good morning, Darren Smith with the Washington Pavilion. We're very excited to be part of this very unique program. Our museums, which means our Science Center and our Visual Arts Center, will be reopening on June 1st. We've been spending several days and even a few weeks planning for that possibility. We're going to be able to do it in a safe and responsible way, so we're very much looking forward to that and welcoming lots of kids and families and others back into our facility again in June. It's been a couple months since we've been able to do that, and so we're very excited about that. When the city folks called late last week and shared with us this idea and the fact that they were having some real challenges with what would be possible with the zoo this summer, I have to tell you, and I want to point this out, it says a lot about Mayor Tenhaken and the team at the city that knowing how difficult the decision was going to be to not be able to have the pools open this summer, their immediate top priority was the kids in the community, and especially kids that don't have access to all of the facilities in town that others do. And I know that's something that they wrestled with greatly, and out of that was born this really unique idea. And I think some of us for a long time in town have thought about how do we bring facilities like the Pavilion and the zoo and other great city-owned facilities and some other private facilities together in some kind of unique program that our residents can utilize much more conveniently, and never been able to find a way to pull that off. And so I'm really excited to see that's going to happen this summer, and this might be the start of something great that's in place every summer to come. So I know a portion of this announcement, of course, is about what won't be possible with the pools, but I really hope the focus will be on what is possible and what the city and their private partners like us at the Pavilion and the zoo and others will be doing to welcome kids and families of all ages into our facilities so they can still have a great summer, get out of the house. Everybody, including the kids, have been cooped up for a couple months. They're eager to get out there, and we want to welcome them back in a safe, healthy, and responsible way, and we're looking forward to doing that. So thank you.
Hello and good morning. I'm Susie O'Mara with the Great Plains Zoo. And thank you for having me. I am just thrilled to be able to announce that we are opening on Wednesday. This Wednesday, please come and visit us at the zoo. We have taken a lot of precautions to ensure that we have a safe environment for all to come and visit. We're focusing initially on our outdoor places, our outdoor exhibits, but now is a beautiful time in our city to get out and walk, experience our animals. We have missed you, and so this Wednesday is the day when we'll be opening to all. And I'm just thrilled to have the partnership with the city, that to be able to offer the zoo as a place for all within our community, all families, and being an option. As Darren had said, that when the city called and said we want to find alternate options, we were just excited to have the zoo as one of them. It really gives us a great opportunity for the zoo for all. This is our community zoo, and everyone should get to experience it. So I'm excited about our partnership. Thanks to Mayor Tenhaken and his team with Don Carney, the parks. We are ready. We plan to have a safe environment for all. We've put a lot of different safety measures into place, so you can feel confident and comfortable coming to the zoo this summer. Thank you.
All right, before I take questions, I will just say one thing. All the attractions and businesses in the city that have wanted to have been able to utilize our SOAR team to work on a reopening plan and have been able to run that past our SOAR team. And the zoo has done an incredible job with their plan, so much so we asked if we could use it as a kind of a template and an example for how to open a facility and a business safely and in the right way. So this will be a great place for families this summer. So with that, take any questions for myself or for any of the folks that are here today. Right. I'll maybe let one of you guys speak to that.
What?
That question too.
So the question, I think, is how will we be set up to welcome crowds back in, and how will we handle that? So Susie will come up after me and talk a little bit about her plan, because it sounds like they have a very comprehensive plan. I can tell you we established a task force internally back on May 1st, and we've been working, that task force has met every day up until today. We actually did a limited reopening today at the Washington Pavilion, but we won't be reopening our museum spaces for another couple weeks. It is a very, very comprehensive plan, very robust in details in terms of social distancing will be in place. There are going to be hand sanitizer stations located throughout the building. Deep cleaning will be taking place throughout the day, not just at the end of the day, not just at the beginning, both of those times as well as throughout the day. So we have looked at all the CDC guidelines. We have studied plans from museums and others across the country that are also in the process of reopening. So we've got a great plan in place, and I'd go as far as to say, look, we're going above and beyond any time in the past 20 years, quite frankly. So we're very proud of that, and we know that when we open our environment, it's going to be safe and healthy and responsible, because if we don't do that, it sets all of us back. So that's very, very important.
As for the zoo, we are limiting the number of guests on a daily basis, but we're taking it as a very much of a review each day and to see how things are going. We do ask that our guests go online to our website, greatzoo.org, and reserve a time slot. So we're doing some time ticketing so that we can control the number of guests that are through our gates, and so that we can rightly manage the flow and the volume. But we will still accept walk-ups, but just know that if tickets are sold out for that day, we may have to turn some people away, just again so that we can control the number of guests that we have within our gates. And each day we are going to evaluate, can we increase that number? Is it at a manageable number as to where we're at? So we're taking a very systematic approach to it. We also, at our entrance gates, will have opportunities to be able to purchase tickets via your mobile device, so as you walk up, so you can skip a lot of the lines. So lots of different queuing options to be able to minimize the number of guests that are waiting in a line to get in.
Susie, thank you. You touched on something really, really important. I wanted to mention that we will be limiting our capacity, of course. The current city ordinance allows for up to 50% capacity. 50% capacity in our building, 350,000 square foot building, is a pretty big number. We're not going to be anywhere close to that. We're going to break it down 50% capacity on a space by space basis, because that's the most responsible way to do it. It's the safest way to do it. And we have an entire program in place for head counts and monitoring that, so we never get above that amount. So I wanted to mention that as well. Yeah, for us, we did talk about going to a system like that, and that is something we could implement later, but we're not initially. But we've got a different system that accomplishes the same thing. And again, we've got some rather large spaces down there as well to spread people out and so forth. And we thought about all of that. But again, a very specific plan in place for capacity and head counts and how we're managing that.
Other questions? All right, seeing none. I want to point out the reason we have obviously our bookmobile here. Some of our team from Sioux Falls Fire Rescue will be doing more hydrant parties this summer, and so you'll be seeing more of those happening. The zoo came out with some we've got some animals just to kind of highlight some of the great things going on at the zoo. Dino, what's Dino's name? Bradley. Bradley, the dinosaur here. So thank you guys for being out here. It will be a fun summer, despite some of the things we have to do a little bit differently this year. Know that the city's working hard to make it a fun summer for kids and fun summer for moms and dads too. So thanks for being here today. We appreciate it.